Frederick, Colorado, a small, peaceful suburban town where nothing terrible ever truly happens. Or at least, that's what everyone believed. In August of that year, a young mother and her 2 daughters would vanish without a trace, and their disappearance would unravel one of the most shocking, cold, and heartbreaking family murder cases in modern history. This is the story of Chris Watts. A smiling father, a seemingly loving husband, a man who looked ordinary, but carried a darkness deeper than anyone could have imagined. From the outside, the Watts family looked picture perfect. Chris Watts, his pregnant wife Shanann, their daughters Bella and Celeste, and a baby boy on the way named Nico. Shanann often shared videos of Chris dancing with the girls, laughing in the kitchen, playing in the yard. To the world, they were the ideal American family. But social media shows only what people want you to see. Behind the camera, Shanann struggled to keep her marriage together. Financial problems piled up. Chris grew distant, cold, detached. Shanann confided in close friends, "Something is wrong with Chris. I can feel it." She had no idea how right she was. During his job at Anadarko Petroleum, Chris began an affair with a co-worker, Nico. Nika believed Chris was separating from his wife. She had no idea what was coming. For Chris, this affair wasn't just excitement. It felt like a new life. A life without responsibility, without marriage problems, and horrifyingly, without his family. He changed his appearance, lost weight, became more confident, but he also became more distant, more secretive. Shanann noticed immediately. "Chris, I don't know who you are anymore," she texted him. And she was right. She didn't know him at all. On August 12th, Shanann returned from a business trip at 1:48 a.m. It would be the last time anyone ever saw her alive. Inside the house, Chris was waiting. No one knows exactly what happened in that bedroom, but by the early hours of the morning, Shanann was dead. And the most chilling part, Bella and Celeste were still alive. Later that day, Shanann's friend Nicole Atkinson became worried. Shanann had missed a doctor's appointment and wasn't answering calls. Nicole called the police. Bodycam footage from that day has since become infamous. Chris arrives home, hands in his pockets, unnervingly calm. When the officer asks, "Do you know where your family is?" Chris casually replies, "No idea. No fear. No panic. Just emptiness." The next day, Chris appears on local news, pleading for his family to come home. But something was very wrong. His expression was stiff, his voice flat, his eyes empty. He smiled at strange times. Millions of viewers felt it instantly. This man wasn't grieving. He was acting, and he wasn't a good actor. On August 15th, Chris agreed to take a polygraph test. The examiner told him, "It's important that you know. You're going to fail this." And he did spectacularly. Detectives confronted him. "Chris, we know you're lying." The room fell silent. Then Chris broke. But even then, he didn't tell the truth. He blamed Shanann, claiming she had hurt the kids, and he panicked. A desperate lie. A final cruelty toward the woman he had already destroyed. The real truth came out weeks later during his full confession. Chris strangled Shanann. In their bedroom, he wrapped her body in a sheet and carried her to his truck. Bella and Celeste watched. "Daddy, what's wrong with Mommy?" one of them asked. During the long drive to an isolated oil site, the little girls sat beside their mother's body. What happened next is one of the most heartbreaking crimes in modern history. Chris murdered both daughters. Their final words were cries for their father, the man who was supposed to protect them. He buried Shanann in a shallow grave and placed his daughters' bodies inside separate oil tanks. A cruelty almost impossible to comprehend. After investigators placed the timeline together and confronted him with evidence, Chris Watts was arrested and charged with 5 counts of first-degree murder, unlawful termination of a pregnancy, and tampering with deceased bodies. He avoided the death penalty by confessing. He is now serving 5 life sentences without parole. He will die behind bars. The reason this case haunts people, isn't just the brutality. It asks who committed it. Chris didn't look like a killer. He wasn't a monster hiding in the shadows. He was a husband, a father, a quiet neighbor who waved at people, played with his kids, hosted barbecues. His evil was hidden behind a smile, and that is what terrifies people the most. Sometimes the most dangerous people are the ones who pretend to be normal. And sometimes, evil doesn't wear a mask. It wears a wedding ring.